Hey guys, I hope everybody's having a fantastic day, whether you're watching this in the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening. I'm glad you're here. I want to thank all the channel members, thank you, and thank all of you who've come in to watch my EDC and knife content. Thank you for taking the time. Today's video is going to be about EDC fixed blades that I bought one of and then liked it so much I bought another one. Different blade style maybe. We'll get into them, but these are the ones out of my collection that I liked so much that I bought it twice. So the first, and I'm going to do this by size. So the first is the MKM Makros. I'm sorry. So the MKM Mikro is a little bitty guy. These little guys come in right at under 4, right over 4 3/4 inches. Yeah, right over 4 3/4 inches, regardless of if you get the sheep's foot or if you get the drop point. These knives are fantastic EDC carries for secondary carries. They're perfectly balanced. You'll notice that the jimping on these two knives is in two different places. It's because the drop point is set up for a grip. The sheep's foot is perfectly set up for its grip. So if we were going to just cut paper with these little guys, I use them for opening packages. They are very slicey. These little guys, short blades, one of them, and I've got carry kits for both of these. These are both in green micarta scale, so you do have a little extra scale on top of that M390 blade. This is the extra carry kit that I picked up that comes with an ulti-clip, comes with these leather straps, comes with a lanyard that you can tie it to your neck, and the Kydex sheath. Comes with something else, I can't remember what it is. But anyways, cool little kit. And this is the sheath that the little micros ship with. So this is a magnetic slip, right? So you can wear it a couple of different ways. If you wanted to be really gangster, which I'm not, you could wear it on the outside of your belt like that. That magnet's strong enough to retain it. The way I carry it is I just lock it in like that, and then I put it in my back pocket. Or if I wanted to, I could put the whole thing on a chain. It's not coming out. But the MKM Mikro 1 or Mikro 1 and Mikro 2 are both fantastic knives, perfectly balanced, great secondary EDC carries. I dig them a bunch. So moving on, we come to one that has a little caveat, and we're going by size again. So this is the Jakeb Creates Chikadee. And this was probably my first small EDC fixed blade grill. I actually liked it so much I have picked up 3 and probably will not stop there. These are all different in that this one is a satin full flat ground S90V. This one is and it's got micarta handles. This one is a G10 with MagnaCut and a Kyle Coonley edge. And then this one is their Arctic with the micarta handles and the 20 CV blade. When you take these scales off to clean them or put wicked wax on them or something like that, you see the blade steel and Jakeb Creates stamped in behind that scale, which is pretty cool. So these are right at 5 inches, right? So these are exactly 5-inch knives with 2.5-inch blades, right under 2.5-inch cutting area. But they are super slicey, effective little cutters. I carry all of these, even though I've mounted them with an ulti-clip, but I carry them all scout carry on my belt, right to the right of my belt buckle. They're so short, they don't print, they don't stick out. Whoops. The 20 CV and this paper's been wet. The 20 CV is needing a little sharpening time. See how the S90V is. S90V is plenty sharp, it's just me. When I grab the next piece of paper, it'll cut better. But anyway, the Jakeb Creates Chikadee is a fantastic knife. They are not inexpensive, but I think the quality that you get, both in the heat treat, in the building of the knives, the construction of the knives, they're all handmade, and I just find them great. I'm a huge fan. I've actually got Oak City leather slips I got actually 2 leather slips, which will fit any of these 3 knives, that I can also carry in my back pocket if I don't want to carry them on my belt at the appendix. So moving on, we come to the Denney Apprentice. The first Apprentice I got was the Gen 1, which is the Magna Cut acid edged with the vintage caramel micarta handle. And then after that, I picked up the satin blade crew wear with the G10 handle in the Gen 2. The difference in the Gen 2 and the Gen 1 is pretty simple, but what it is this choil, or this plunge grind, has been moved back on the Gen 2 so that you've got a much more sharpening area from about 1/4 inch to over 1/2 inch. And the G10 scales, or the micarta, or the carbon fiber that Tyler works with, are all now held on by T6s, which he hasn't mentioned this yet, but that tells me that you could do scale swaps if you wanted to. But these little guys are fantastic little EDC Fixies, probably some of my favorites, just because they're such cool looking little knives, and they are so slicey. Whether it's the acid etched Magna Cut or the satin crew wear, they're package destroyers, they're Slurpee savers, they're splinter diggers, they're street scalpels, you name it. They're just great little knives. They're super light. They're hand built here in the US with high quality metals, high quality steel, Magna Cut, crew wear. He works with other, premium steels, and they are fantastic. I'm a huge fan. I love these little knives. I carry them both in my back pocket. I've got Oak City leather slips for both of them. I've got a short and a long, but I've also got the Kydex that they came with that are pretty comfortable because they're lighter and take up less room in my back pocket than this, because this is a very small printing knife. But these guys, which we did not do, was get a measurement, and they are going to come in right at 5.5 inches with a right under 2.5 inch blade and about a 2 1/8 inch cutting area. Very slicey, beautifully done. I love the harpoon because it just gives you a natural place to rest your finger. That smuts from my leather. I can get that off with wicked clean. But yeah, these are the Denney Apprentice. Fantastic little knives. I'm a huge fan in what Tyler's doing. Follow him on Instagram, Denney Knives. Super cool stuff. Then we move on to not the Mikro, but the MKM Makros. M-A-K-R-O. And this is the Makro 1 that came first, followed by the Makro 2. Kind of the same setup we were just looking at with our Mikro 1 and our Mikro 2, spelled with a K. I'm sorry for saying micro versus micro, but they're the same patterns. They're just bigger versions or smaller versions. The Makros, of course, are going to be bigger than the Mikros. So we're talking about the MKM Mikro 1, which is the drop point, and the Micro 2, which is the sheep's foot. These guys also both come with leather slips. I've got them both with their optional carry kits. But they're going to measure in, I couldn't tell if these were going to be longer, 6.5 inches. So they are a little longer. So they're 6.5 inches overall with a 3-inch blade, 3-inch cutting area, 3-inch cutting area. Wonky plunge grinds, as you can tell there. One downside, I've kind of got where my stone's gotten into it. I could easily cut a plunge grind in there. But what's great about these knives, just like the Micros, is they're perfectly balanced. And you've got that wonderful jimping both in the palm, and you've got your finger position. Both of these knives are in the same place. They feel like extensions of your hand. They are so comfortable. They are so small. I carry these either in my back pocket with an ulti-clip, or I carry them on my belt, just like I do the Jakeb Creates Chikadees and the little Micros, because they can go right to the right of my belt buckle and they don't poke out. They don't give me any extra printing or popping out of my shirt. But anyway, these guys, again with a little bit more blade area, are going to be a little bit slicier. They're M392. Not M392, but M390TOO. But great little workers, great little cardboard cutters, great little EDC knives. Again, this is starting to get close to being able to bridge that gap if you didn't want to carry a folder, a primary folder that one day, or on the weekend you just wanted to have a good knife that you were going to be able to cut with. You're getting into the size now with Makros, where these are both bug out size knives, right? Probably a little smaller than a bug out in all truth. Probably closer to the mini bug out. Yeah, they're probably mini bug out size. I don't have the mini bug out close, but this is the MKM Makro 1 drop point, and the Makro 2 is the sheep's foot. So moving on, we come to the Böker Daily Carry AK1. Guys, this is definitely, it can be a backup carry or it can easily be a primary carry. I love these little knives. This one's very economical at well under $200. This one not so much. This one is in RWL34 and this one's in N690, but for what they are, they're both fantastic knives. Daily Carry and Böker came up with this little knife. This is the American Tanto version. You'll notice that both, and they're both Soligen Germany knives, but you'll note that the front, and even though I'm not doing it justice, the front angle cuts very well too if I would do it right. But what it's really good for is piercing, saving Slurpees. But as an EDC slicer, these guys are therapeutic slicers. If there was a guy behind the knife that could cut, that's all me, not the knife. But yeah, guys, the Böker Daily Carry, and this is the American Tanto version. It's more of a budget version. You can tell it's got a lanyard place back here. The upgraded version in RWL34, and both of them are Soligen Germany, marked right there on the spine. But the upgrade has a pretty cool feature in that it has a flippable lanyard loop. So I can flip this out where I've got it looking just like this, or turn it in, it's like a puzzle piece, and not have it visible. And since I've got smaller hands and it fits my hands perfectly, I am good right where it is. They're just some of my faves. I just really dig them. The American Tanto came with this clip, which does lock into place pretty well. I haven't put an ulti-clip on it because I haven't needed to. And then the upgraded version comes with this nice leather pocket dropper that has a sewn in standard ulti-clip, which really retains well. Really well done. So we move on from there. Oop, we didn't measure them. You guys have to remind me, because you know I've got the squirrel brain that works up on me sometimes. So I'm going to measure from the back of the handle since I've got the lanyard tucked in. It's going to come in right about 6 3/4. Right about 6 3/4. Fantastic little knives. I carry them quite a bit, and I carry them on the weekends just as my only knife. Moving on from there, we've got a couple of more winners, and these are the Viper knives, Lili, Lille 1, and Lili 2. These are Vox designs like the MKMs, and when you look at these, you'll notice a couple of things. The sheep's foot has jimping in one area. The drop point has jimping in 2 areas. They're both fat carbon fiber. They're both LMAX blades. The sheep's foot is set up really for one finger position, right? So there's not a lot of grips that I would want to employ on the sheep's foot. This is such a comfortable knife, by the way. It's just absolutely amazing in the hand, and that's just because I'm sure it's a Jesper Voxnez design from Viper Knives. But so the sheep's foot has got the one area to place your finger. Now, the drop point's a little different. You've still got this forward choil, but you've got an area here or an area here. So depending on where your cuts are coming from, this is more of a skinner knife, right? So if I was out in the field and I was trying to skin some game, there might be reasons where I'd want to put my directive pressure right on top of that blade, or I might want to hold it back a little further. I prefer the drop point over the sheep's foot. I got the drop point first. I thought I'd like the sheep's foot better. They're both great knives, but there's just something about this knife to me that is so sexy. This knife, although very, very cool and very much probably the better of the two and just an all EDC work knife. But for me, I'm kind of a weird dude that way, where I like carrying this because I'm usually just cutting and open Amazon packages. But if I was going to be breaking down a lot of cardboard, this one's probably gotten more work. I just like the look of this one. Both of them are great knives. They also come with G10 handles and a more economical package, still with the LMAX steel. I can highly recommend any of these because, again, these are knives that I've left out knives like my Baltic blades that have been sent to me. These are all knives I brought into the collection because I loved them. So moving on, we come to the last two of my small EDC knives, or knives that I liked enough to buy twice. And these are the Midgard Messer Ratatösks. And I'm not pronouncing that right, but it's R-A-T-O with a funny symbol over it, O-S-K. And they are little S30V, super, super thick and massive feeling. I love the ball handle. They've got a little skull cracker there with a lanyard hole. You've got a drop point version that's a little bit shorter. The handles are identical, but the tanto comes out a little bit longer. It's almost like the stock here was this cut off, and then this is just extra, that point. And these guys are thick behind the edge, but they cut, and they cut well. Good steel, treated with a nice tumbled finish. You've got the Midgard Messer logo there. You've got S30V. This is number 43 out of 100. These are small batch. And this one here is number 41 out of 100. So 2 numbers off. It'd been nice if I could have gotten the same number, but 41 and 43. You've got this jimping that also has this micro jimping. So you've got what I would consider these big jimps and these micro jimps. Both make this knife super, super comfortable. And what I think of these knives are feel-good knives, knives that when you carry them, and you carry them on your belt, because that's one downside, is they've got these odd little kind of rubberized sheaths that work very well. The retention's as good as you could ever want, but you're kind of limited to traditional carry. But I carry them on my belt. They carry fine. They retain very well, and you could drive them through a Coke can, a car door, or heaven forbid, you're at the gas station and somebody comes from your Slurpee. These are the type of knives that not only intimidate, but are very, I would say, tactical in nature. So guys, I'm going to throw out one of each of these, and you can rest assured that the sheep's foot or the Tonto, whatever the case may be, or the drop point, the variant that I'm not showing, we got the Midgard Messer, we've got the Viper knives, Lili 1, or the Lili 2, I'm sorry. We've got the Böker AK1s daily carry. We have got our MKM Makro 2 happened to come out of the sheath. We have our Gen 1 Denney Apprentice. It looks like we've got the S90V Chikadee and the drop point MKM Mikro 1. So the Micro 1, Chikadee and S90V, Denney Apprentice, Makro 2, the AK1 Böker daily carry, the Viper knives, Lili 2 in LMAX, and the Midgard Messer Ratatösks drop point. So those are 7 small EDC knives that I liked enough when I bought them to buy them again. So that tells you that I'm a big fan of these knives, guys. I love them. These are more of a novelty. These are all users on both sides, the ones that are on the table and that are. I can recommend each of them. I love each and every one of you. Thank you, thank you, thank you for watching the content. If you happen to still be here, please hit the subscribe button. It would really help me out. Please, more importantly, look out for that guy or gal to your left. Please look out for the guy or gal to your right. Please look out for each other. Go forward with love in your hearts. Be up. Choose debate, not hate. I love you all. Peace.